guys, I'm so glad to have you back here today for our second lesson, our second video about phrasal verbs. So I saw that you were very interested in my first video about phrasal verbs. I'm very glad. As I told you last time, we're going to have 5 videos concerning phrasal verbs, and in each one of these videos I'm going to talk about more or less 20 new phrasal verbs. Of course, they are not all the possible phrasal verbs you can find. There are thousands, okay, so I don't want to talk about all of them, but I have prepared a sort of selection, and I've picked the most common phrasal verbs, or the ones that can eventually induce into mistakes. So this is just a selection. Since I've noticed that you are so interested in this topic, I think this is just my idea. You tell me if it is a good idea or not. After finishing this small sequence of 5 videos with this list of phrasal verbs, I thought we could actually pick some verbs, like for example the verb to go or to give, okay, which have so many alternatives, so many prepositions and so many meanings, and we can get deep, okay, into details verb by verb. This is something we already did with the verb to get. This is the lesson 25 of this playlist here, which is about English grammar, of course. We talked about the verb, the meanings of the verb itself, and then I talked about almost, okay, also the great majority of the meaning of this verb as a phrasal verb, so together with the possible preposition that can be actually used together with get. So if you want to know more about get, so you can go back to my lesson number 25, and if you're interested in that kind of lesson, after finishing this list, this huge list of phrasal verbs, we can actually pick some of them, the verbs that are more common, or that are more that can have more possibilities with various meanings and preposition, and we can actually go deeper and go into details and actually talk about each one of them specifically. Now let's go back to the 20 new phrasal verbs of today. The first one, well, they're actually 2, but they mean the same thing. To close down or to shut down. Close down and shut down are synonyms, and they don't just mean to close something, but they specifically mean to cease trading or to cease an activity, to close business, to give up business or any kind of activities. An example, the shop was forced to close down, so to stop its activity. It's not just that they close the doors, okay, they completely close the activity. So remember that the meaning is quite specific. Then another verb, to come up. To come up doesn't just literally mean to come physically up, but it means to raise a topic, or to make a question, maybe. The example, during the meeting some interesting facts came up to discussion, so they were raised, basically. Could be also some interesting questions, okay, or came up to discussion, so they became a topic of the meeting, basically. Then again, to cross out. Cross out means to cancel, to eliminate something. Example here, cross out the information we don't need. Maybe we're doing some research, or we're working on a project, we're working together, we're studying together. I tell you, cross out, eliminate, delete, or erase all information we don't need. Okay, that's to cross out. Then here there is the same verb with two meanings actually, so two verbs, depending on the preposition we use. The verb is to cut. Cut down and cut out mean two completely different things. Cut down means to reduce, to decrease something. Example here, I'm cutting down my budget. So I'm trying to reduce my budget, to make it smaller. The second example is something completely different. To cut out means physically remove something by cutting it. Okay, with my scissors. This is something that maybe teachers could say to kids. Okay, the example here: cut out the picture and paste it in your notebook. This could be a sort of an instruction we could give to children. There is also another use of this verb, which is quite informal actually, and it means to be fit, to be appropriate for something. For example, I'm talking about an actor and I say he or she isn't cut out for that role. So it means this is not good at performing that kind of role. It's not appropriator. That role is not fitting him or her. This is also another meaning, and in that case it is used in a passive form. Okay, he or she is or isn't cut out for something. Then there's another verb here: dive in, not drive in. Pay attention, to dive in. It could actually mean physically plunging into something. As in the example here, I felt warm water and I dived in. I plunged into the warm water. But it may also have a figurative meaning, and it means to undertake something in a very enthusiastic way. So an activity, a new project, a job, work, a relationship, okay? So being completely overwhelmed with enthusiasm in doing something. Then, alright, this is the phrasal verbs that all mothers all around the world should know, because this is a very common verb, especially for Italian mothers. I don't know, but probably also abroad. Do up your jacket. It means do up. The verb to do up means to fasten a jacket, maybe with a zipper or buttons. Okay, so do up your jacket. It's cold outside. Okay, fasten maybe something you're wearing actually. Now we have three different verbs here with the same preposition, and all of them mean the same thing. These verbs are to doze off, nod off, or drop off. All of them mean to fall asleep. Most of the times it means to casually fall asleep actually, without even noticing sometimes. So it's something we do when we are on the couch and we try to watch a movie, and then we suddenly wake up and we understand that we have lost maybe half an hour of the plot. Well, this is dozing, nodding, or dropping off. Okay, this is something that can happen on a book when studying, or on your computer, or at school or at work. Or as in the example here, he dozed off in the middle of the meeting. Okay, obviously he didn't want to, he didn't mean to. This is something that just happens actually. So three verbs, same preposition and same meaning. Now another verb: to drive off. To drive off means to leave, to go away. And it could happen using I don't know, a bus, for example, or a car, or a plane, or a train, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the person who is leaving is driving that bus, car, or whatever. In the example here, she saw her boyfriend drive off in a bus. Obviously he is leaving and he is on the bus, but actually he's not driving the bus, obviously. So even if you've got the verb to drive, it doesn't mean that the person is driving that specific thing. Okay, he's just living on in that thing. Then again, another verb, to drop, and this verb here with two different prepositions has two different, completely different meanings that has nothing to do with each other. The first one, to drop in. To drop in means to visit casually someone without telling before that we are going. In the example here, we dropped in to see how you are. So we just stopped by. To stop by is actually another phrasal verb, stop by. Stop by, and we didn't call before to tell you we would visit. So this is something absolutely that we decide, okay, at the moment. To drop in. Drop out means something completely different. It has nothing to do with visiting someone. It means to give up something, okay, before finishing it. As in the example here, he dropped out school after 2 years. Obviously, he didn't get the degree. He left school before finishing his course or whatever. Oh, by the way, in the definition of drop out, I have used another phrasal verb, which is to give up. Give up means stopping an activity. Okay, to stop an activity. I decided to give up smoking, so not to smoke anymore. Basically, give up school, I'm not going to school anymore, and so on. Then again, end up. End up is also used to, many times it's used to mean to finish something. But actually the meaning of the verb, or the phrasal verb, should be to arrive somewhere. And most of the times it is quite casual, and we are not, it is not something we actually planned to do. The example explains it very well. We ended up in the wrong place. Of course, we didn't plan to arrive there. Okay, maybe we wanted to go somewhere else, but we ended up there, so we arrived there. Then, to fall out. To fall out is a quite common verb. It means actually to quarrel and to break a friendship or a relationship. Means not being friends anymore, to drift apart. Okay, to drift apart completely, to become detached from someone after maybe a discussion, like in the example here. After that discussion, they fell out, so they drifted apart, basically. And number 16 for today, fill in or fill out. Now, we could think that they could actually be two completely different verbs, because in and out they mean quite the opposite most of the times. No, they mean exactly the same thing. To fill in or to fill out mean exactly the same thing, which is to complete a form. Okay, to fill the gaps. So, for example, here I had to fill in or to fill out the job application form. Okay, so to complete a form can be translated with both fill in and fill out. They are synonyms. Find out. To find out. This is a verb I like very much. It means to find something, to discover something, but it is much more used than the verb to discover, because to discover something has something to do with a scientific environment, but actually find out is used in everyday life. The example here is quite clear. They found out a solution. They found a solution means that they were looking for a solution and they finally found out that solution. They didn't discover the solution. This is too strong, okay? This is something native speakers teachers wouldn't use. Okay, so find out is a very good good verb, very common one. Find out a solution. They found out also a problem can be found out when it is focused, when it is basically it is discovered. Anyway, it is found. Then to fix up. To fix up means to repair something. There's also the song that says I'll fix you. Okay, so it means I take care of you and I'll try to make things good for you. Now, to fix up something means to repair something physically. They fixed up the door means that they repaired the door that didn't work well. Now there are many other possible translations you may find also online. Fix up, for example, to plan something. Maybe the boss fixed up the meeting for specific on a specific day, or well, this is also possible, but this is the real meaning of the verb. Okay, so to repair. To give out. Give could be another possible verb that we could use for those kind of lessons we talked about before. Okay, the specific lessons in which we take a verb and then we analyze every single preposition that can be actually added and can be actually be associated to that verb. Well, give has a lot of possible situations with different prepositions. This is a very common one, and if you are a student or if you're a teacher or if you anyway attend school, this is something that you use every single day, because to give out means to distribute something. Okay, so typical sentence: the teacher is giving out the copies, or is giving out the tests. Okay, this is quite typical. Okay, so she's distributing the copies. Last but not least, to go on. Go is another verb I would like to analyze with you specifically, because obviously there are a lot of possibilities, a lot of different prepositions that can actually be used together with go. I wanted to mention to go on for a very simple reason, because in my previous video we talked about carry on, keep on doing something, and we said they had the same use as to go on, so to carry on basically. This is true, but the verb to go on means also something else. It means to happen. So maybe the question what's going on means what is happening. Okay, what's up? So this is also very important to remember. Now, as usual, I move away from my whiteboard, so you can take a screenshot if you want, or notes or whatever. And then I come back here and okay, as usual, if you have any questions, just leave me a comment below. But specifically, I'd like you to leave me also a feedback with your like, or just subscribe my channel. Just remember to click on the bell for notifications, and we're going to talk about phrasal verbs again. I promised you, okay, to continue this list with the other 3 videos, and then if you want we can go deeper into details and we can actually analyze some of these verbs, okay, the most complex ones with the most possibilities. Thank you so very much for following, thank you so very much for watching, thank you so very much for supporting me. I remember you that there are many different playlists on this channel. You know, it's not just English grammar, but there is also English literature, American literature, Italian, also Italian language for non-native speakers, so it is explained in English, so you can find probably, maybe, okay, I hope so, different topics you may be interested in. Thank you so very much, and see you very, very soon again with English grammar. Bye!